All right, today we are back with Dave Bray, Dave Bray USA. He is a United States veteran. He served in the U.S. Navy as an 8404 Marine. Looks like you were a sniper. Am I right? Like a scout?
I was with the Scout Sniper teams out of 22 Camp Lejeune. I was an SMF corpsman. So yeah, I was with, started out as the Navy, but then I crossed over to the Marine Corps. Yep.
Awesome, awesome. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for your service.
Very welcome.
Not too many people, can do what you do, and all the rest of them that are serving. A matter of fact, in our last interview, you actually brought up something. I believe you said it was scientifically proven that there is something different in the brains of those that serve.
Yeah, they've been doing research in the human genome to find what's called the hero gene, and there were some people that were actually tested in service and in military, and then in civilian and like the business world. It's just a different genome that they're trying to map into basically the sheepdog mentality that goes behind a lot of the servicemen and women that end up going out and being in the warfighting sort of community.
Yeah, that's actually, pretty neat that someone's actually, studying that. Because, I mean, it does take certain people that are willing to, sacrifice their life on behalf of a whole country. So, right now you are on tour. You released your song, or your album, Music on a Mission. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Sure. We released Music on a Mission, which is the first of its kind. It's a storyteller album. So I narrate the record. It has me speaking and talking a little bit about some of the history of the songs, and then how or why they were put on the album, and what the hopes of the album are. And then you have the songs in between, and there's songs that people know, and then some of my original stuff. So there's rock versions of Amazing Grace, God Bless America, and then you have some of my originals like the song Warrior Inside, or The Hunter, or the hit song from the album is called Last Call, and that's the one that discusses or basically tackles the subject of fallen law enforcement officers and their families, and that song has been the one that has really garnered the most attention.
Yeah, that's actually the first song of yours that I ever heard, and actually I heard it just before the cops in Dallas were killed during that ambush. Your song, there's two songs in particular with your new album that I want to ask you about the meaning behind of them, or what the meaning is to you, what you want it to, reflect on other people. It's the songs The Hunter and The Warrior Inside.
Yep. So The Hunter is a song about searching for faith, and a friend of mine is a hunter, like a professional. He goes and he has television shows. He's also a faithful guy, and there's a lot of questing when you're in the woods by yourself, and there's a lot of sort of inflection and reflection kind of happening as far as what you're thinking about. I mean, you're not just sitting in a tree waiting for a deer all the time. You're constantly thinking and trying to figure out where and what's going to happen, and what the weather is doing, what your surroundings are doing, and in turn, it becomes very healing. And what I realized when I'm sitting in a tree stand, 4 or 5:30 in the morning when the sun starts coming up, and it really is you're about as close as to God as you can get, and that's usually where I take a few moments to think about the hunt. But then I also think about the closeness that I have to being on God's front porch, and just being out there in His nature. And that's what the hunter is about. Basically, it's about being a searcher, and knowing in your heart that you're always going to be looking and continuing to look, but realizing in the end that Christ is looking for you, and that He is searching for people like you. He's searching for His Christian warriors. He's searching for His Christian hunters to come out and be open and really embrace the faith. And I think that's what the best way to describe what that song is about. It's very powerful. It's one of those that really moves you in the end when you realize that the person that is the narrative in the song is saying that you are the searcher, I am the hunter, but then realizing in the end that He is the one hunting you
Yeah, and that's a very inspirational song, especially to people who are, you know, at a very low point in their life, and they they sort of believe, but they're looking for that evidence, and that's usually when, you know, God shows up, is when you give up. So
Yeah,
very
yeah. A
unique
lot of
song.
times that's truth. Yeah, and a lot of the songs on the album, they're written and sort of performed from that place, that dark place, and I think that's why it relates to a lot of people in the PTS, you know, warrior, veteran, your first responder community, because you know, songs like Last Call are about losing a first responder. You're losing, you know, your loved one and your family. And you know, Amazing Grace was obviously about, you know, faith, but it's also, again, it's a memorial video. The video for Amazing Grace on YouTube is all about fallen soldiers. You know, so it's a very serious and kind of somber record, but it has a place in the music world. You mentioned the song "Warrior Inside," which is another one that really strikes home. You know, I wrote pieces of that, you know, while I was serving in the military, and then after I got out, I wrote other pieces. And, you know, it was one of those that kind of came together. You know, at an interesting time, I had a friend that had asked me to try to put something together, and she was the one who had actually mentioned that hero gene, and so it all really sort of came together with some pieces that I had. After I put it all together, it really made sense to what that song was supposed to do. And it really is to inspire hope in our veterans. And in the, you know, the 22 a day community, you know, we're losing 22 veterans a day approximately to veteran suicide. Now in law enforcement suicides, they're even skyrocketing as well. So that song Warrior Inside is about remembering that as a young man or woman, you swore an oath to this country, and to continue that oath, and to remember that no matter what you are today, no matter what you've been through, that young man or woman was that same warrior that took that oath. And you got to remember that oath is for life, and you got to ride it out. Continue your service, and that's what Music on a Mission is for me. It's a continuation of my service, because I didn't feel like I did enough.
Exactly. I mean, and the other unique thing about, you know, the songs that you sing, you leave no one out. I mean, you've got a song for firefighters, you got a song for military, law enforcement. I mean, you leave absolutely no one out. And music is one of those things that God gives us to get through things. Music is a big influence on everyday lives.
Absolutely.
So, and you also sing patriotic songs, which is honestly very rare today. So I would say that you're probably the most patriotic singer on the planet. You know, so what made you decide to do patriotic songs?
Well, as most people know, some people don't. My first band that I was in, as a professional, you know, basically musician, as a touring musician, I should say, was Madison Rising. And in that band, you know, I wrote a ton of stuff that was, you know, very patriotic. So again, it was versions of the Star Spangled Banner. The rock rendition, right, that came out in 2012 was, you know, one of my, you know, claim to fame, I guess you could say. And we as a band toured all over the country with a lot of veteran organizations here as well. And it was one of those things that, you know, we didn't really branch into law enforcement so much, but we definitely got involved in that community and in other communities for the, you know, the military as well. So that was where it all kind of started. But before that, what people don't understand is that before that, you know, as a serviceman or woman, you're immediately drawn into service for your country, which is about the most patriotic thing you can do, whether it's law enforcement or police or as a serviceman or woman. But before that, even before that, I come from small town America where I played a lot of sports in a very small, like I said, small town. My dad was the scout leader, so I was in scouting, and I was involved with the church, and that's where I started to sing. And it's a culmination of the whole sort of lifespan. But when you realize at the end of the day, you know, what you leave behind is going to be looked at, and it's going to be judged, and people are going to make up, you know, their decisions on it. Your kids are going to go back and listen to it, hopefully, and hear your voice. And that's one of those things that in this day and age is so precious, man. The human voice is like a fingerprint. You know, I can hear a certain sound, or I can tell you that a certain bell is, you know, the sound of, that's the chime of Big Ben, and then immediately there's a picture that I see as Big Ben in my head. The same with a voice. If you hear Frank Sinatra singing a song, you immediately remember his smile, you remember his eyes, you remember his, you know, mannerisms. about him. And that was one of the things, and the reasons that I chose music was, in acting and on stage and in theater and things, somebody else is telling you, how and what to do in each and every scene. But in music, it's you personally putting out your soul in a way that really, really is captivating. And if you close your eyes and listen to certain musicians, you'll hear their soul on that record. That's what I try to leave behind when I did music.
Yeah, and I know what you're talking about. I come from a huge family of musicians, and they put their emotions into their music. So when they write, you kind of know what they're feeling at the time they write it. It's actually pretty amazing, and music is very influential. So, today we've got all kinds of horrible music that kids are listening to, all kinds of, disgusting shows that kids are listening to. And I want to ask you your opinion on something. I recently interviewed Gold Star dad, Billy Vaughn, who wrote the book Betrayed, the shocking true story of Extortion 17.
I know Billy.
Yeah.
I'm friends with the family. Yep, I've read that book, and that was the first book that I literally got so angry that I grabbed it and I threw it across the room. I mean, I was so angry when I read about how that case was handled, how the rules of engagement were tying the hands of our men and women serving overseas.
Yeah.
It was such an eye-opener for me, and then to meet Billy and Karen out in the in the field has been really, really an amazing experience. They're great people, great Christians. Just,
Yes.
A strong example of what a Gold Star family needs to do as they continue without their loved ones.
Yeah, it's absolutely heartbreaking for families to go through that, especially knowing when it could have been prevented. And Billy, I mean, the whole family, they're wonderful people, Christians, very patriotic, but they're not sheep. You know what I'm saying? He mentioned something in our last interview that we have a jihad in America, a spiritual warfare over going after the minds of children. And I really sat back and I thought a lot about what he said, and that scripture comes to mind about the generation of lawlessness and disobedience turned over to reprobate minds. I want you to tell me what you think about what Billy said and what you see.
Well, being a father of 8 and 10-year-old boys, and on my record I speak very, very plainly and very, very clearly about this. The war is, I define it as not a jihad, but a war for the minds of our children. It's very similar. It is a spiritual war as well as a constant attack that has been completely just cut loose. There's no holds barred for what our children are being exposed to now with the internet and having devices and being around other kids who don't have devices with parental controls, and then those children showing other children pornography, snuff films, things that kids should not be exposed to, is really, really, it's killing the youth in America. It's killing not just the individual, but the overall idea of the innocence of youth. It's killing the innocence of America. And for some other, parent to allow their kids to go to school with something as dangerous, I'll say it, as an iPad or an iPhone that's not on a parental control, and giving them the able to look and see and go through the things that they're seeing, and then showing that, being the cool kid who's showing that around in school. It is a form of abuse. It's a form of exposure. It's a lot like the streaker with the old, tan trench coat on. He shows you his goods and he runs off. There's something to be said for how and where and why we need to protect our children more than anything. Because if their innocence is taken away from them in a way that is just disgusting, I look at it and I scratch my head and I say, what can I do? So, we have issues with bullying on the buses and the school buses, and I come home and I talk to the kids about about what they see, what they do, and I try to pick their brains. I'm sure they tell me some stuff and don't tell me other things. But, you know, if it's serious enough, they tell me. And, you know, it would jaw drop a lot of, I would say, people that haven't been around kids or aren't raising kids right now. It would absolutely jaw drop you to see what these kids are being exposed to. Aside from that, if you go out in public, you're walking down the street, you pass, you know, porn shop after porn shop, you pass vape shop after vape shop, which is also selling glass bongs, paraphernalia, drug stuff. And I'm getting the questions about all these things as well. This is just walking in public. So from that, and then the comparisons and the basically the constant barrage of what is coming through the televisions in your living room. I'm watching a kids television show, and the commercials that come up are for erectile dysfunction, depression, anxiety, and suicidal tendencies. These are all medications now that are going to fix these things. Depression, anxiety, suicidal tendencies. The word suicide is being pushed into our homes more and more and more and more and more. Even in the warning signs for any of these, it's quit smoking, quit drinking, quit doing all the things that are bad for you. But you walk outside of your house and it's being shoved down your throat at every step and turn. And I'm just to the point where we don't, unless it's a movie that we have like that, we go back and get out our DVDs. You can't even watch anything on television anymore. It's horrific to have to worry about what your kids are going to see, and it's not even what the content is. It's about what the commercials are selling you. It's the homosexuality that's being shoved down your throat. It's the racism that's being shoved down your throat. It's the political identifications that are being shoved down your throat. Constantly being barraged by Hollywood, leftist Hollywood. I watched, and I'm rambling right now, and I apologize, but I watched a portion of Black Entertainment Television the other night. This sparked a heated debate online the other day. There's a movie called Sonny and the Queen, or The Queen and Sonny, where the guy kills a cop, him and his girlfriend, they go on the lam, and they go on the... And the movie is basically about glorifying them, this Black Bonnie and Clyde. And I'm sitting here going, I had to turn the television off. I said, in this day and age, where we are losing more law enforcement than we are losing men and women serving in war zones overseas, we are losing more law enforcement every single day on duty in this country. And here we have a culture, call it Hollywood, Black Entertainment, whatever it is. It was on BET, so I'm going to say Black Entertainment or Black Hollywood, shoving this narrative of glorifying cop killing down your throat is horrific. It's absolutely horrible. I can't let my kids see it. And granted, you know, they say, oh, it's art. It's art representing life, and this, that, and the other thing. Okay, great. Why are we glorifying it then? If it's art representing life or life representing art, or entertainment being used as entertainment, nobody thought that a bunch of kids were going to roll through Columbine with semi-automatic weapons and shooting kids when they were making first-person shooter games on, you know, Nintendo and PlayStation. Nobody thought that those games were going to turn into mass shootings and people, you know, taking lives in schools. Nobody thought that those kids were going to do those kinds of things, or people were going to do those kinds of things. But it's happening.
Right.
It is happening right in front of us. Art is now imitating life, and life is now imitating art in these genres and these realms. And if a kid watches Sonny and the Queen, or the Queen and Sonny, and he's lost, and he's without God, and he's without family, and he's without faith, and he's been pulled over by a cop, you know, a couple times or whatever, and he's gotten a bad, you know, taste in his mouth from police or law enforcement or his parents or his teachers or people are saying, you know, cops are bad, and he gets this you know, vigilante mentality, and he goes out and pops a cop or shoots a cop and does something to take a law enforcement officer's life. You know, was it worth making that movie then? Was that movie that important that it had to be made? Was it that critical? Or are you just going for how many likes and the reactions you get from the other side?
I think
and that's where I get angry about the attack on our children, because there are so many kids right now who need the appropriate upbringing, they need the attention, and they are just not getting it, and they are falling right into the hands of the devil, and right into the hands of these Hollywood freaks that are putting this crap out, right into the hands of these video game makers that are putting out these games that are first-person shooter that put you through the mental steps of how to kill and how to go about murdering and how to go about mass murdering and shooting weapons. It's the things that our kids are being put in front of is perverse. It's digital, it's pharmaceutical, and it's destroying our nation.
It's like I think, to me, from what I see, it's a form of indoctrination because, they got shows like Lucifer, okay? They're putting it in young minds that, hey, the devil is good. So, I don't know if you've seen this, but back in the 80s, there was a former KGB agent that, gave an interview. He had migrated to the United States, and he gave an interview, and he was a brainwash technique agent, and he warned America that, look, indoctrination is used. They use Hollywood, they use media, and anything that they could get, because look, as teenagers we were easily influenced by the music we listened to and by the movies that we saw, so we know exactly what it's like to be a teenager. At one point, the accountability's got to be number one, on Hollywood and the media, but also on parents that are not as intuitive as they should be. Maybe because both parents have to work two jobs, so nobody sees their schoolwork, what they're learning in school, the things that they're learning. And so I guess, okay, like you were talking about, showing these kids that, hey, it's cool to shoot an officer. So you've also got those same kids that are being brought up to hate America. They're being brought up to hate America. So recently, I think I don't know if you heard it, but Joe Biden said that America was never that great. Okay, as someone like you that served this country, that I don't know, your blood may have been spilled. I don't know. But only, you know that, and your team knows that. But as someone who served this country, how does that hit you that those words are being said, and the ears of little kids are hearing that as well, that America was never great?
Well, I think there's always this quest now with the emergence of social media and the very, very short attention span of the American public, is that if you can use a few words to make a big impression and to have your quote-unquote sort of entire story be told of where you stand and what type of constituency you want to vote for you, or who you want to vote for you. If you can knock that out in a sentence or two, pick a few.
Yeah.
The Joe Biden one, obviously, America was never that great. Is no different than the Obama. You didn't build that. You know what I mean? And all the have-nots, or quote-unquote people that feel like they've been done wrong, they're like, yeah, anyway, America wasn't never that great. Every time, blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing, wars, all this stuff. It's a continual cycle of perspective, and somebody has to be the adult in the room, or else, you're going to end up the kids are going to end up tearing themselves apart. So, basically, the way I sort of put this into a perspective is you have all of these very special interest groups, whether they're, LGBT, QRST, LMNOP groups, whether it's your race or whether it's your religion, all these different groups, and they're so wrapped up in what their group wants, that they cannot see in any way, shape, or form anything other than the big picture. So they feel automatically that they've been shunned or outcasted or given a bad rap or an unfair shake, or a seat at the table that wasn't as high or as tall as everybody else, a microphone that wasn't quite as loud. Whatever it is, they feel like they are due or owed or just something, because they have a special interest. We are not just this, we are this plus this.
Yeah.
And the adults in the room have to say, no, shut up. You got to put America and all of the people in America first. We're not just going to bow down to your special interest group. We're not just going to bow down to your single religion. We're not just going to bow down to your race. And we're not going to bow down to your sexual orientation or identity. And that's the part of the blind misconception that these men and women that are a part of these small groups are failing, but they do very well at promoting the idea that they have gotten a bad rap or deserve special treatment. And that's the difference, man. There's a big difference in trying to speak for all of America, which I feel is what Trump is trying to do, his hardest, despite being under a constant, legal attack, a media attack. He does his best to try to speak for all of the country, even though he knows it's going to, it's going to cause waves through certain communities. But somebody has to do that, or else this country fails. Unless we grab onto the same rope and all pull together, the whole ship is going down.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
the carcass will be torn apart by all the different insects that lay all their different bugs. And unless we can keep this thing alive and this ship on, is in the right course, then the whole ship sinks. And that's what nobody understands.
Right.
It's just like the Titanic. It will go down if we're all, going to try to worry and concern ourselves with ourselves and our own personal identities.
Yeah, and see, that's what's important about, people like you that are singing patriotic songs, that are singing, spiritual songs, because there's just not enough of that. Instead of, dwelling in the past about what happened in the past, rather than, hey, let's build the future, there's none of that. All right, I want to take a guess here and say that you are probably a Second Amendment supporter. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, great. I am too. So, we were talking about, what goes on in Hollywood, the movies,
okay, I want to stop you right there, actually. I just want to stop this right there. The conversation needs to be put pin in, because there's a difference between a special interest group based on your race, based on your sexual orientation, based on there's a difference between special interest group based on your own personal identity and the Second Amendment, okay?
Oh, yeah, big difference.
The people that are gun-toting, God-fearing, freedom-loving, flag-waving patriots, that is not a special interest group,
no.
Okay? That is something that needs to be said right up front. Being a constitutional, believer in the constitutionalist, a constitutionalist, and believing that the Second Amendment is the reason we have a constitution and we have a country. There's a huge difference between me wanting to keep and hold on and protect my family with guns and what bathroom you want to use. There's a huge difference there, and I think that those two entities are lumped into the same pile, as in, well, they get to keep their guns, so why can't I have my own bathroom?
Yeah.
And it's just not the same. It is not the same category of quote-unquote interest. One is life or death.
Right.
The other one in the protection and preservation of our country, our freedom, and our nation.
Yeah.
And the other one is just how you feel that day and what you want to do. So there's a big difference there. So go ahead. I'll let you continue your question, but I wanted to make sure that we're not lumping the Second Amendment in with other special interest groups.
Oh, yeah. No, exactly. I mean, the Constitution says that we have a right to have, guns for, our self-defense, period. That's definitely not special interest. So, government has, messed up a lot of things. Should it be the government that says who can have a gun and who can't? I mean, in your opinion?
I think the right to protect yourself is one that comes, that's an unalienable, that's a God-given right. You have the right to protect yourself. Now, the right to own a gun, in this day and age, do I think 16-year-old kids deserve to have guns and should carry guns? In some cases, yes. In some cases, no. Do I think a 5-year-old kid needs to carry a gun? No. Do I think that a law-abiding citizen who is registered as a citizen in this country and who does not have any violent criminal history should be allowed to carry a gun or keep a gun or have a gun? Absolutely.
Right.
Do I think a citizen in this country who has radical history of violent tendencies or drug violent history or issues with law enforcement, if somebody like that? No. And I don't think our laws are saying anything other than that. Now, when it starts to get into registration and things like that, you're talking about a completely different animal. That is, I feel, is a partial infringement on what we can and cannot have as being able to protect. I do feel like there's some fine lines that have been drawn against semi and fully automatic weapons and bump stocks and no bump stocks, silencers and non-silencers. For small firearms, I don't think that there should be regulations. I should be able to go out and purchase pretty much, if it's a one-man, non-crew serve weapon, I feel like I should be able to purchase whatever weapon I want. But
Yeah.
that can go all the way up as far and as high as you want. You can say, well, it only takes one man to launch a nuclear weapon, and you'd be right. So there's some common sense that needs to be written into the legislation. It can't just be all cut and dry. And quite frankly, I feel like the Second Amendment just says it all. It just shall not be infringed. Meaning
Exactly.
you can't encroach on what somebody wants to do or how they wish to protect themselves.
Yeah, and you actually said the key word, common sense, and there seems to be a lack of that these days up in Congress, and hopefully they'll get that right. Do you think that President Trump is doing better for the veterans and our military? Is he doing better than what Obama did, in your opinion? Because
Yep.
yeah, because I just kind of felt like there was a target the whole time, the whole 8 years. There was a target on the backs of police officers and military and all of that. And so far, other veterans have said, look, he's done better for us than anyone else has. Were you a Christian when you enlisted?
Yes, I was.
When you enlisted, did you think of writing music?
Yep, I was writing music before I went into the military, and as I was in the military, I was writing songs, poems, just continuing to just try to do as much music as I possibly could. I had friends that were at home that were in bands that were sending me demo tapes and songs and things like that. When I got out of the military, I went directly to work as a musician.
Did you really think that you would make it big time?
No, and I still don't think I will, but one of these days I'm hoping to happen.
Well, I think it was back in May, your album Music on a Mission debuted at like number 6 on iTunes downloads and stuff, so that's pretty big.
Yeah, it did well. I mean, number 1's better, though. I mean, let's not settle for mediocrity.
I agree. But you know what? It is very hard for a musician to make it, especially when you're singing patriotic songs in a time where patriotism is being attacked. Patriotism is being attacked as extremism, and I really don't get that, but that's what's going on. So that's a big deal to make it with the political climate we have today. Your song Last Call, what made you decide to write that one? Was there like an incident that you...
There's kind of 2 parts to that, and again, like I said, a lot of those songs are written from a dark place, and when a family loses someone in the line of duty, and I think this is one of the things that I do really well when it comes to writing and performing and doing music, is I really try to embody and embrace not just what it feels like or what it looks like, but I try to embrace the whole entity of what it would feel like or be like to be in those situations. I don't know where that comes from. I guess it's an empathy sort of thing or whatever it is, but I just try to put myself in that situation of somebody who was basically hit in a gunfight, or in some way, shape, or form. I knew my life was going to be over soon.
Yeah.
And I gave what I would want to say as my last words to my wife and kids, my children, and the people that I've served with, and the people I call friends, and those I call brothers and sisters in my life. So that is that song. it's essentially my words of what I would say, put into the words of a fallen law enforcement officer.
Yeah, it's very, I mean, it's very, very powerful. I mean, the first time I listened to it, I probably played it over and over again on YouTube and cry every time, because it is a very, moving song, and I mean, it's deep, really deep. So, I know you're on a time limit here, so I guess the couple of final things I just want to, real quick, tell the audience how they can help veterans. I mean, you've got probably more time around veterans than the average American does, and you are a veteran, so you would know. Where do you think, I mean, what organizations, just name out some things that people can do to help.
Well, first off, if you're thinking about starting a veteran nonprofit or something to do with veterans or nonprofit, just put a pause button on that and really do some research about what is out there, because the time and effort that you're going to put into starting your own nonprofit or something along those lines to benefit veterans is going to be, somebody's already done a lot of that legwork. And if you're looking for a short way to help out, I think you find somebody in your neighborhood or close to home, and you really dig in and you say, I want to support you for what you do, and do your research. Know the people involved. Don't just pick somebody off the TV that's saying, hey, we're a nonprofit for veterans and we're giving away blankets, and if you give $25 a month, you can get this, this, and this. Don't just, unless you know those people, go for it. But, I think with the amount of nonprofits that are out there, there's plenty of room, and there's plenty of people out there that want to support locally. I would say keep it local. So if there's a nonprofit near you, keep it local and get involved with that nonprofit. Don't just throw $25 a month, even though that's great, but give some of your time. It takes a lot of time and effort to run these nonprofits. You can help, believe it or not, you can help support me. I mean, Dave Bray USA plays for nonprofits all across the country. A lot of these nonprofits end up not being able to cover my travel and expenses to play. I can't afford to be able to cover my travels all the time to be able to play, and my time away from home and my family to be able to play for free. So I do have to charge a performance fee, and I can't afford to travel to just put it on a credit card. So if you want to help, there's sponsorship availabilities and donations at DaveBrayUSA.com, and that allows me to be able to go out and perform for some of these nonprofits at a deeply discounted price or for free if they're, without too much travel burden on us. So those are the things that I would recommend for them. You want to help the veteran law enforcement community, look local, find out what nonprofits are around you, get involved, give them your time, and give them your money, and help them to do what they need to do for the cause, and do your research.
Yeah,
there's tons of nonprofits out there. We don't need any more veteran nonprofits. There's probably 80 to 100,000 of them. There's 80 to 100 per state. It's ridiculous. So we don't need any more nonprofits. Get involved with somebody who's already got one going. Get on their board. See what you need. See how you can help.
Absolutely. And if there's a veteran that you live by, sometimes your time is more valuable than anything else. To check on them and let them know that you care. That's pretty important. But absolutely. Nobody could go around playing at, events without a little bit of help. So, DaveBrayUSA.com, is that what it is?
Yep, you go to DaveBrayUSA.com. If you don't just want to make a donation, you can always just support the mission by purchasing some of our merchandise. We have T-shirts on there, we have challenge coins, we have hats, mugs, all kinds of stuff, stickers, and with every purchase from the store, you get a free autographed Dave Bray USA CD. So you get a little something for free on my end, and I cover the shipping. So every little bit helps. We are continuing our mission. The new album should be coming out probably towards the beginning of next year. So we are halfway through this year. So we got about 7 months, and then we should be looking at next year releasing The Mission Continues. So that's going to be an exciting thing we're working on right now. We've got 2 of the songs recorded. Some of the narratives are done, and we're just going to keep going. Just going to keep doing what we do, writing, creating, being a part of the communities, allowing our music to be used, and hopefully we'll just grow and continue to move and do what we love to do.
Absolutely. So if President Trump wins re-election and he asked you to play at his inauguration. Would you do it?
Well, if he's going to cover my travel expenses, then I guess I might.
I'm sure he could have.
The president.
Yeah, I'm
If
sure.
the president asks you to sing a dang song, you grab your guitar and you get down there and sing your heart out.
Yeah,
I would
absolutely.
absolutely do that, and I would cherish that moment more than probably anything that I would have ever accomplished so far in my life. I've done some pretty amazing things. I've sung at some pretty amazing places. I've sung at NASCAR, NFL, hockey, all kinds of sporting events. But talk about the inauguration of a president, being able to drop a strong patriotic national anthem. And I don't think there's been I don't know how many guys have ever done it. I would imagine like Pavarotti's probably done it back in the day, and some of the other guys. But I don't know how many guys, that's a good question, have ever gotten the opportunity. They usually use one of the female vocalists, so we'll see.
Yeah, I like President Trump. I really do. I think he's done really well for our country. I truly believe he's trying to unite the country. So, you being a musician, what you say and sing is very influential. So my final question would be, if you were to give words of unity, what would you say to Americans to encourage them to unite and stand as Americans, not black, not white, not Asian, not none of that, but just stand as Americans? What would you say to them?
There's nothing wrong, and here's the thing: there's nothing wrong with your special interests.
No.
But don't expect the entire country to break their backs to fix or do things for you that no other special interest and nobody else is getting any free rides or anything. So don't try to change the status quo around your special interest. Do your special interest, do your thing. But take a breath, man. Take a break from beating up on America and take a step back. It's like that dog, that bad dog that keeps being on the carpet, and all you do is smack it and send it outside, smack it and send it outside. It just keeps doing it. You can't figure it out until you actually stop and spend some time with the dog and relate with it and really fall in love with it and teach it the way it needs to be taught. American people are very, in a way, we're similar, right?
Yeah.
We're tired of getting the slap on the wrist and move forward. We all of us, special interests, all the races, pro-Trump, anti-Trump, pro-Obama, anti-Obama. It doesn't matter. We all of us need to just take a step back and take a breath and realize how blessed we are to be here. How blessed we are to be in America, to be standing on this soil, this blessed hallowed ground.
Yes.
Think about what it means to really stand on the last free nation on the planet. And then think about the resources that are here. Go look at nature. Go look at what we have here. Go look at the waterfalls, the amber waves of grain. Go look at those beautiful rivers. Go check out some of the beaches. Go look at the mountains at sunset. Go look at what God has given us here. Understand that we need to protect it and start acting like adults. And that's the only real thing that I can say.
Yeah.
Love the people that are around you. Have your special interests, do what you got to do, but love the people that are around you. And really just embrace them and see how you can help them instead of worrying about how they can help you love them.
Yeah, absolutely. Because everybody's under attack. And there's more we could do about it. We've got, we've got our military guys, being charged with murder for doing their job. It's a tough thing for them. They need our prayers. There's a lot we could do and say and start believing in one another. I think that's a big thing. There seems to be a lack of belief in each other. So, well,
hey, listen, we all trust each other enough to go out there and get on the highways with everybody every night and every morning. We all get along in traffic for the most part.
Yeah.
So it's like, we can figure this thing out. We just got to adopt that sort of, hey, it's peaceful momentum. We've all got to get to our destination safely and in one piece.
Yeah.
Let's just do the same thing in our lives. Let's do the same thing with social media. You know what I mean? Let's do the same thing with how we speak and react and talk to each other. And I think if we do that and we adopt sort of the traffic doctrine that it doesn't really matter what look like, what you're listening to, any of that music, any of your, like I said, your interests really don't matter. It's all about all of us getting to our destination safely, peacefully, and with the right amount of love in our hearts. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when is your next venue?
So I'm actually playing this Friday. I'm going to do a local gig up here in York, Pennsylvania. I have some friends that they own it's a golf course, country club kind of thing. It's right in York, PA. So if people want to find that, they can check it out. I'll be heading down to Boca in August.
Yep.
So I'll be down in Florida. I think that's where you're from.
It is, and August is my birthday, and I'm going to be looking for some tickets. I'll definitely go and get some tickets.
Yeah, so I'm heading out to Oregon. I'll be up in Alaska this summer. I got a lot of things going on, so everybody needs to go to DaveBrayUSA.com and subscribe. And if you do go there, be sure to check out the support merchandise. Leave me a message. Let me know you heard me on this show, and let me, we'll give you some free shipping or something. I don't know, but I'd like to know when we do these radio shows who's hearing us. So if you go to DaveBrayUSA.com and subscribe and let me know you heard it on this show, that'd be great.
Awesome. Okay, and you know what? We'll keep you in prayer, and thank you for your service and your continued service. I do believe you actually said that in an interview before, that your music is your continued service. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Take care. Be well, and God bless.
Thank you. God bless you too. Be safe. Well, folks, that was Dave Bray USA, and please, by all means, go check him out. Great guy, served our country. Go to DaveBrayUSA.com and let him know that you heard him.